So it'll show up over here through.
Yeah. Yep. I try and pull it up on. Let's see. Oh, we've got one person watching so far.
What are the community guidelines you just have to abide by here?
Oh. I don't know. Maybe good. Oh. Carol's friend Katie says hi.
Hi, Katie.
How are you tonight?
I'm well. It's a beautiful day today. Nice day.
I'm pretty good myself. We're out of focus. I don't know how to focus the camera on a computer. So, I don't know if that will do anything. Somebody's from Central Florida. Let's let some more people get in. So what did you do today in the garden?
Well, I just wanted, I watered those things you planted, and then I was just help, getting shoots off the trees. And
cool.
Do you have paper wasp where you in Maryland?
I don't think so. I never really saw them.
I had one in I was out there, cleaning the tree, and all these bees are just nailing me. And I found the big there. Started to build this.
A big one?
Well, it's not big yet, but I knocked it out. It's on the ground. You'll see it, but they're beautiful. How they're
made. They're neat. There's one in the barn. I haven't knocked it down though.
Yeah, I just knocked it out of the tree.
Yeah.
Because anytime I touch the tree, man, they're just all over me.
They stung you?
No, but they will. So I don't want to put up with them because they're not nice.
Okay, we've got 5 people watching. It's a big crowd. Let's see. Okay. So. Okay, to the 9 people out there watching right now. 1, can you hear it good? And 2, ask a couple questions. And 3, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, it's kind of late. I think I said we'll do it at like 6 every other Thursday. But I completely forgot. So. Yep. Okay, good. They can hear us. Somebody harvested their back to Eden garlic yesterday.
But that's early. That's amazing. We have to wait till like August here to harvest.
I want to hear myself. Where did you say you were from? The garlic person? She said, my garlic has brown tips. Is anything wrong with it?
On the foliage or the garlic?
I think on the foliage.
Foliage, no problem. It's just saying, we're getting done.
On her apple tree.
Aphids are an indication of dehydration. Water more. The tree is dry.
You're still going to make it to do the chickens, right, Katie? What is that, next week? It's creeping up quick.
Yeah, so we've had, let's see, 3 tours already this year. Katie says yes.
Good, thanks. I wish I remembered that we were doing this today, because I would have posted this morning saying, like, ask me questions or whatever. That way I could sit here and ask them while people are checking in. Let's see. Somebody says I can send my 6-year-old daughter. She's great at butchering hens. Help is help. Which greens? Like the kale? Have you planted anything with kale with?
No, I've got kale still there. Kale's growing.
No, like the last year's kale.
I haven't planted anything yet, but I'll probably plant, lettuce when there's something coming up.
Yeah, I've processed meat birds before. It's a lot of work, but I don't know. It's not bad. 67 birds, that'll be fun. But I'm going to do the first batch. It's going to be 40 birds, and then the second batch will be the rest of them. So it shouldn't be like too overwhelming. And I'll have help, so let's see.
That's
Yeah,
a full day.
it's definitely going to be a full day. That's for sure. We'll probably start at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, good idea. Yeah. So your guys' questions, ask them when you like type them up in your little whatever that is, the live chat. Make sure you type them in all caps. That way they kind of stand out to us, and we'll read them real quick and answer them. Carol is off doing some midwife thing, like a home visit. Oh, those were radishes. The root maggots ate all my radishes, not the greens. The greens are all pretty good, although it's getting kind of warm, so some of the stuff is starting to bolt. But oh well. "7 a.m. sounds perfect." Let's see, just wanted to say. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But
who's practical experience? It's just their name, or
yeah. What's your name? Practical experience. Do you flavor your kombucha, or you just drink it just as kombucha?
Yeah, I just do it plain. Sometimes I'll add ginger or something, but most times I just have it just regular tea.
This is a very lively live stream today. Trying to find some of the old questions. Let's see.
The daytime for the tours is 2:30 Sunday afternoon.
Okay, I'm finding some questions on my old Instagram post. So let's see. With the Back to Eden method, do we have to be concerned with companion planting, or can we plant whatever next to each other?
I've never been concerned about companion planting. I just plant whatever. I'm just finding though that stuff definitely grows better under the trees, and I think that's really a nice thing to work with.
Yeah, trees are great. Let's see.
Yeah, they are. You'll see. I'll tell you, you'll see everything grows better under the trees. It's amazing the difference.
Okay, here's a question. We've laid down wood chips. What is the best nitrogen source to help break it down quicker after 3 years of wood chipping? See, chicken manure?
Water. Water really helps increase the composting.
Like nitrogen though. So probably chicken manure.
Or chicken manure or blood meal or
yeah. But water, yeah. Water breaks them down quick.
What was the most memorable tour experience in all the years you've been doing them? Well, that's a good question because I've had a lot of memorable experiences. I'm just trying to think of what would qualify as the most memorable.
That was a good question, though. What comes to mind? This might be the most, but it was pretty memorable. Is this woman had come 1 week. She was from Bremerton. This wasn't not that far away from here. She'd come like on a tour, and it was raining. I don't even know why she came because she didn't have a garden, but she came. She came back the next week, and it was a nice day. And toward the end of the tour, she just sharing that she just started to talk to us and saying like, I don't even know why I'm here. I don't care about a garden, but I'm just drawn to this place. And so it was so awesome. There's this young woman starts talking to her and just addressing her, and it was just so amazing how God gave her word of knowledge about her character, things she'd been through, and the woman was like just amazed at what she was hearing. And then she just walked up to her and held her hand, and started praying for her. And it was phenomenal as she was praying, how she was God was just giving her word of knowledge, things about her life that nobody knew. And it was just so awesome. And then toward the end, she just led her to the Lord, and she just shared with her how she had a Back to Eden Garden group that got together every week and invited her to it. And I thought it was just so beautiful how this woman she was really searching for God, and how God just arranged the right people. This woman just showed up in the right place and just ministered to her just beautifully. And I'm just standing back watching this, thinking like, God, this is so amazing what you do. So I guess, what's the difference between dwarf rootstock and like normal rootstock?
Well, there's 3 stages. There's standard, which is the original tree, and they get huge. And there's semi-dwarf, and then dwarf. And what I'm seeing here is that my dwarf trees get too big. They're really growing fast. So I'd recommend in a wood chip environment just to plant dwarf trees, because otherwise they're going to get too big.
Okay, you got that one.
Here's the problem I'm having with my potatoes waiting to die back. They don't die back. November last year, my potatoes were still blooming. I'm thinking like in October, I'm supposed to get you out of here. What are you still blooming for you? And so I'm just now, because I don't care what they look like, because I want to get them out before the ground gets wet. I'm going to harvest in October, whether they're blooming or not, because mine don't die back.
How many pounds of potatoes do you think we picked or dug up last year?
I don't know. I've never calculated weight.
Do you know how many boxes you filled?
Do you remember we had?
There's a ton.
I think there was at least maybe eight of those big boxes, wooden boxes.
So how much do you think one box that's full weighs?
Oh, those are pretty heavy.
Yeah, I mean the boxes are like that, right?
They're good size. They're probably I'm thinking like maybe two by at least 3.5 feet.
Okay, so they're well over 50 pounds.
Probably at least 50 pounds. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of potatoes.
And then we give a lot to the chickens. You know, we don't. I mean, we're only saving the big ones. All the small ones to get to the chickens. So the chickens probably got as much as what we get.
Look at this.
This rock.
If I'm gonna film the tours, I think I'm gonna leave that up to that nub. Like, he's good at filming the tours. He's got all the cameras and all the different. He's got the whole setup all perfected. It's a lot of work to film the whole tour. With one camera, it's really a lot of work. And then people also ask me questions. Like, they pull me to the side and ask me questions, and I don't know. Like, I helped that nub film it last week, and I liked helping him. That was cool. I enjoyed doing that, but I don't know if I'd be at the tour.
The question on a small garden, the wood chips work the same whether they're big or small. It's just, because they're feeding the soil. And so no matter what space you have, wood chips will do a great job of whatever you're growing. And if you have a place too small for trees, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of, you can maintain my trees I'm keeping pretty small. They're not tall, they're not real big. And so just because things grow so much better under them, if at all possible, I get some tree, at least one tree, and then just graft into it multiple varieties so you have cross pollination.
Can you overwater potatoes?
In wood chips, it's hard to overwater anything, I think.
But in not wood chips, you can overwater potatoes.
Yeah, in dirt you can overwater, but I found it really hard to overwater wood chips. Like I always use the rainforest just down the road. For example, 70 miles down the road, we have the whole rainforest. It gets 14 feet of annual rainwater. Now you picture 14 feet of water on the ground, what it looks like, and you can walk out in that forest year round, any time of year, and the ground isn't soggy or boggy as standing water, which is amazing, which is telling you those wood chips are displacing 14 feet of water.
Do you want to talk about the mycorrhizal fungi? Can't talk. In the wood chips.
Well, that's what I love about wood chips over any other material that you can use for, supporting the soil, whether grass clippings, leaves, or manure. Those things don't have fungi. Wood chips have fungi, and fungi is probably the most nutrient-dense, amazing soil material in the planet. I mean, there's no comparison to fungi. And you think of mycelium will travel for miles underground, and when plant roots attach to them, they access that life force. So this is why I really, really like wood chips, just because of the fungi feature. That's such a major asset.
I just said there was one. Where'd it go? Okay, what is the best way to compost garden waste without chickens? I don't want to attract rats.
So if we have wood chips, just pull the wood chips back, put the garden waste on the soil, put the wood chips back over to hide it and cover it, and you're good.
Yes, that works. You don't know what type of wasabi you grow, do you?
I don't know that there's varieties. I thought there's only one.
It's pretty cool.
That's great what you're doing there in Arizona. You'll find that the wood chips are going to really help hold water. That's going to be a real asset for the wood chips, because if you have limited water, those wood chips are going to really help.
I wish I had a moderator just for my phone. That way they can go through. I guess that would be like Siri or something. But I don't know. I'm trying to find the old questions from.
Here's someone wanting to know if you'll do a video on making kombucha.
I can, if you want to do it. It's really simple though.
It's really very simple. Yeah, it won't be long, because it's a very simple, process.
Okay, so here's something. You can either message me on Instagram or whatever you want to do, or even in this video or live thing. Ask me all the questions you want to know about making the kombucha, and then I'll ask them in the video when I do it. That way he can answer them, and then there'll be a set video for how to make kombucha with Paul Gautschi, and then it doesn't have to be a whole live thing. Okay, good. All right.
I don't know, how to get rid of a particular bug. I don't have any squash bugs bothering my zucchinis. They do great here. My experience with bugs has been when you have healthy plants, they don't bother them. And so I just encourage you to keep building your soil, and don't give up. And pray. Just ask God, where should I plant my zucchinis to avoid these bugs? And just pay attention to what he tells you. Powdery mildew is a lack of air circulation and shade, moisture. So to get rid of powdery mildew is open things up so you get good air and light and air, and it usually clears up.
And then I forget who told me, but somebody told me recently that if you take what's it called, horsetail, that weed around here, you take horsetail and you harvest it at the right time, and you mash it all up or blend it or whatever, and then ferment it in water. I don't know for how long or whatever, but you have to look it up. It's I think it produces natural silica, and you can spray that on your plants with powdery mildew, and that'll get rid of it just by using horsetail. I don't know. I heard something about that the other day.
I haven't ever used mint tea, but I've used other other kinds of tea. But right now I'm just using green tea, and I'm happy with it.
Patient.
If you had 3 years of waiting, it should be pretty good. You should probably have a good year.
I don't know how you waited 3 years. I would have just jumped right in.
The wood chips, they're all really good. They're all different. Hardwoods like alder and stuff break down quicker than the conifers, but they're all good. And I don't know that there's any ones like I say, for a quick result, if you want it really fast, alder works faster because alder breaks down really quickly, and so for speed, that would be a preference.
And I like sweet gum. Like my last garden that I had, I covered it in all sweet gum wood chips, and that made some incredible soil really quick. That's a good one. What's one thing that not many people know about you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. There's only one thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to work Facebook. Trying to find my old post. about the live thing from the first time so I can get questions that were on there.
I'm sorry about you losing all your good plants to the bugs. We've had, there's been times. I mean, a whole row of my little plants got up and the bugs ate them. But my sense is, I just go replant and just pray, Father. I need to get produce here. So would you help me? And just be persistent and just keep going. But what I'm finding now is I'm having hardly any issues at all with bugs.
She's outside. Carol just pulled up in the driveway, and she's looking at us through the window, laughing at us. I bet Katie's on the phone with her. Maybe not.
Your plum trees that are full of aphids and black knot, just get wood chips around them, water well, and try to build the soil and get the tree back into health.
I give up. I don't know how to use Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, your prayer is so helpful. God is so there for us, and His Word tells us very plainly we have not because we don't ask. In Proverbs it says, "In all your ways acknowledge Him." I always ask, what does all leave out? And it's just He's so helpful and He wants to help, but we need to ask.
Look at that. We've got 27 people watching. Why would you border it? Why not just cover the whole thing? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, I would have wood chips in the whole garden and encourage all that fungi to happen. Don't limit to a border.
And wood chips don't even make the best border because everything wants to grow in it. So you want something solid and firm as a good border. That way the grass and weeds don't creep into your garden.
I don't know what the issue here is with the 7 years and too much nitrogen. I put manure around.
Huh. I don't know how you could have too much nitrogen just from manure, and if you've had wood chips for 7 years.
Matthew's brand. What do you mean? What do you mean by asparagus? What was your question about asparagus?
Oh, wait, maybe there's another one. Oh, maybe he meant border the garden with asparagus.
Yeah, that makes a good border. Yeah.
How often do you fertilize and how?
I don't ever fertilize. I just put the cover because everything's there.
But sometimes you'll sift the chicken compost, right?
I'll shift the. But that's just compost from yard waste. It's not fertilizer. Yeah, asparagus makes a nice border because the fern is there all summer long. It's kind of attractive, and it's forever. It's eternal. I mean, it's just it's a perennial, so it's going to be. And because you have to let the fern grow all summer, you don't want that in your garden taking up space. So a border is a real good place for asparagus.
Oh, we gotta plant rice.
I didn't plant any rice this year. It was so easy to grow, and I could plant it late. I just didn't think what's the point? It's no big deal.
I think I might plant it though. I have to pull something out of the garden, so I'm gonna have an empty spot. So I might.
It's pretty late though.
Didn't you plant around this time last year?
Yeah, but didn't finish. Didn't mature.
We can try.
I don't have any slug problems. They don't bother my plants. I have a lot of slugs. I give them to the chickens. The chickens like to eat them, but they don't bother my plants any. I haven't had any sick issues with my chickens.
Where do you get wasabi seeds? You can't save seed from it.
I don't think there is seed. I know you can get starts. That's all I've ever heard, and that's how I got it. I got starts, but I don't know there is seed in that because I watched my wasabi bloom. There's beautiful white flowers like in January, but I've never seen any seed develop. So I'm not sure if there is seed. Lichen is no problem in the trees, and to validate it, go out to your trees and peel the lichen off, and you'll see the bark below. It's totally normal. It's a parasite of the air. It doesn't have any effect at all on the tree.
How do you know stop picking asparagus?
Well, it has to grow the fern to support the crown. So I would at the latest, stop like in July, so have August, September, and October, November to grow the fern. But as long as you keep picking it right, it'll keep producing. Yeah, screen wood chips make it really easy to plant, and you don't have to, pull the heavy stuff back to access the soil. So if you screen it, that really gives you a nice surface to plant seeds in right away. My favorite thing about gardening is a connection with God. It's awesome. When you're out in the garden, he's so present. Everything there is just so he's just very present. And that's what I really enjoy about it.
I was just out in the pasture feeding the chickens, and my allergies are acting up because of the grass. So I would be reading a lot more of these questions, but my eyes are like watering. It's kind of hard to see that way.
Where's that stuff
It's in the truck.
You should be using
I
that.
know. I was. I have to use it after too. Okay. How do you apply your compost to the wood chips? Just on top of the chips?
Whatever you apply, you always layer. Never mix, never bury, never just lay on top, and you're good.
Did you already answer the one about the wood chips and the drip line?
Yeah, how far from you want to pick the wood chips right to the tree trunk. And again, if you look at nature, in the nature in the forest, when the wind blows, needles and leaves will pack up against tree trunks because that's where they're stopped. No one pulls them away. They're fine. And the whole idea of keeping anything away from the tree trunk is stupid, and it just creates an environment for all kinds of garbage and weeds to grow in, makes it hard for you. So just bring wood chips right up to the tree trunk at whatever level you have, and you're good.
My asparagus has become invasive and the roots are really tough. I tried to reduce the size of the asparagus beds and broke several garden tools. I'm in Texas.
Yeah, asparagus sends roots down 14 feet. I don't know if it's possible to ever get rid of it. So I'm not sure. I guess you can just keep plugging away, but again, those roots will go down 14 feet. You're not going to dig that deep.
How deep did you plant your crown, the asparagus
I
crown?
plant the crown right the top of it, right at ground level. Then I bring wood chips, 4 or 6 above that, and I'm good.
Let's see. Can I come up with any questions?
Let's say hi to Let's.
Oh, hey. Remember, she is actually the one that got Paul the his walking stick, the diamond willow
Oh,
walking stick.
thank you so much for that stick. It's been such a blessing. I'm so grateful. If wood chips aren't available, my second choice would be cover crops. Planting cover crops really are beneficial for building soil.
Do you want the yard to stay grass, or do you want them to scratch it all up and have bare earth to produce compost like Paul does?
Well, chickens, if they're left on space, they're going to take everything out. So you're going to be down to bare earth. And so by bringing in your yard waste, you create a really nice environment. It's never muddy, never, not much manure. You can't even find manure, and it makes a really pleasant surface to be on, both for them and people around it. Depending on the number of chickens would be the size of the yard, and then the amount of chickens depend on how much yard waste you produce, because you want to be able to grow most of your food for them. I don't remember where I found that information about asparagus roots being that deep. I don't remember the source. Sorry. How do you do cover crops? You just plant them. Plants, by seed, just seed, and they grow, and then they'll reseed themselves. They'll die back and keep supporting the soil.
I mean, it really depends on the cover crop. Like, a lot of grains and stuff can just be broadcasted. I mean, what else is a good cover crop? Radishes.
Well, as in that film, growing the biggest little farm.
Yeah.
They use all cover crops. I don't remember it being any grain. They were just low growing, low spreading.
Yeah, like
plants.
legumes and stuff like that. But
if you want to see a really good example of the use of cover crops, watch the film The Biggest Little Farm. They really, really did a great job there.
Okay, here's a good one. When you weed your wood chips, do you just pick the weed and drop it? Or what do you do with it?
No, I take it to my chickens because all my weeds are chicken food. And so, again, leaving stuff out in my wood chips is unsightly, so I just like things clean. And so I just, again, it's chicken food, so I always harvest for the chickens.
No, don't throw weeds on top of your wood chips. It looks messy, and the weeds can be chicken food.
And if they've gone to seed, you're going to just reseed,
And with wood chips, they can even just take root again.
Yeah.
Because it's a really good growing. Well, the wood chips aren't a good growing medium. It's a good cover that covers the growing medium, but same difference. Do you name your chickens?
No.
I name some of mine. Not the ones I eat, though.
You never want to till the soil for any reason. To prepare soil for wood chips, there's no preparation. Just put the wood chips down, and the wood chips will start building the soil and taking care of everything. Tilling soil, you destroy all living organisms. It's the most detrimental thing you can do to the ground. You never, ever want to disturb the soil.
How many inches of wood chips do I lay on grass? It's depending on what you
8
want to use
inches.
it
8
for.
inches will take the grass out. if you don't use paper.
Yeah. But if you want to do like an annual vegetable garden, I would put paper, then I put a little bit of compost just to have it, and then wood chips on top,
Yeah,
like maybe
4 inches max.
3 to 4
Because
inches.
you got to pull back initially to plant in the soil.
Yeah. And it's best to use some sort of compost or manure or whatever when you're doing it, like setting it up just for a vegetable garden, because and you'd also want to do it in the winter time, though. It has all winter to sit and compost down and break all the grass and
Ideally
vegetation.
fall.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep. Let's see. So how many chickens do you have that are named Bonus?
I don't name chickens. So.
No, somebody said, we name some of our chickens. When we order chicks, they always send a bonus chick. We name that chick Bonus. So how many times have you named a chicken Bonus?
Never, because I never named any chicken. Fixing my eyesight. I'm so glad you asked. See these glasses right here? There's these pinhole glasses. And I've had people come here to my house who can't see, who are totally blind. And through these, they can totally see. They're totally amazing. Because what this does, it forces your eyes to focus through these holes. And so by using these, when I read, I'm doing eye exercises, and my eyes continually improve. I used to have 20/60 vision. I have 20/20 vision today because I use these glasses. This is the most amazing device for improving eyesight. It's phenomenal. And they're really cheap.
You buy them. You can buy them online. They're like, I don't know, you can probably find them for like $2 a piece on Amazon, if not cheaper.
Well, I do my kombucha in the house, so my house stays temperature pretty much the same all year long. Either I'm heating, in the with the wood stove, or in the summertime, it's not that hot. So because I don't live in a real hot place, so my kombucha is fine in my closet all year long. No, they're not lines. They're like they're little pinholes. The glasses have like little pinholes in them.
I'm gonna try, see if this, see, little tiny holes. They're about 1/8 of an inch. I'd say that's about 1/8 of an inch.
Probably less. More like 16.
Yeah.
Anyway, my house stays really warm in the summer, in the wintertime, so it's no problem doing kombucha all winter long. Yes, I still drink a quart of kombucha every evening.
Thanks for the offer. Message me again, and I might take you up on it. Let's see.
I just think that all issues health-wise are, again, alkalizing your body would be important. Apple cider vinegar is really good for alkalizing. But just good diet, it's amazing how well it works.
What do you do about earwigs?
I do nothing about them. They're just fine. They don't bother me.
If they were becoming a pest, I'd use diatomaceous earth. But don't use it if there's flowers around, because it'll kill the bees.
You want to have the stakes there long enough until the tree can support itself. And you can. It takes a little while for the roots to develop because that's why they're dwarf trees, because they don't have much of a root system. And so I stake all my dwarf trees starting out, but then eventually in time, I take all the stakes out because they develop a really large root system and they're very, very well supported. It's not, I don't know, a time frame. You just kind of, when you move the tree, you can tell, man, this is stable. It's okay.
Who's your biggest inspiration in life?
Who has been your biggest inspiration in life? Well, we used to have this really cool pastor. His name was Arthur Corey, who really knew God's word and knew how to live by faith. He lived to be 92 years old, and he was just he was really a real blessing for me, just because he knew the word and he lived by it, and he was just a great example. No, we're not related.
Sorry, I'm tired. I've been up since, I think I woke up at like 4:30 and couldn't fall asleep this morning or fall back to sleep.
No, I don't make Jun tea.
John, isn't that like kombucha?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with what it is. All right. You'll enjoy those trees. Plant produce under them. They'll just grow better.
Get a dog. How can I keep the deer from eating the apple trees? Right?
A good dog. Dogs work great.
Oh yeah, the Jun is basically kombucha, but instead of sugar, it's honey.
Okay. I've heard that pretty different. Summer will make the trees smaller, but boy, that's not my experience at all, because I've done it, and my trees are not slowing down for anything.
Did you plant the tree bare root? Kathleen? She said, okay, sorry. I was asking her a question. She said, one of my young apple trees has some yellow leaves that are little. Does the tree need additional water?
Probably has yellow leaves. Could be too much water, or lack of nitrogen in the soil. Either or. So
But then when it comes to fruit trees, you also don't want to add a lot of nitrogen to the soil, because it'll send up a lot of like sucker growth and all kinds of craziness, and it'll lower your fruit production. And then with bare root trees, the first year you don't really want to water that much, maybe like an initial water just to set the soil in around the roots. But you can actually rot the trunk of the tree because the soil around it needs to dry out a little bit so it can stimulate root growth, so the roots actually go out and search for water on its own. So
yeah, we like fermented food like sauerkraut, kimchi. Yeah, fermented food is really good for us. Good for your microbiome. Oh, spacing on apple trees. Dwarf trees, 15-foot minimum. If you have more room, it's ideal, because at 15 feet, they're all touching at my place. But that's the minimum. 15 is the minimum. And they tell you in the books you can do it 10 to 12. It'll get way too tight. Deer move when they want to, but they'll also move when the dog's running them out.
Do you plant borage?
No, I haven't planted borage.
There's some at the duplex, and that stuff's everywhere.
I didn't plant it.
Yeah. There's tons of it. Yeah, if you plant borage, you definitely want to get it out before it seeds. Unless you want it everywhere. But it's medicinal, so maybe you do. Let's see.
I haven't got to dinner today yet, so I'm not sure.
Is there anything you can't plant in wood chips?
No, I've never seen anything not grow in wood chips.
All right, what's a plant both of us haven't grown that we would want to grow?
I don't know.
What have I not grown? Yeah. Tell me what I should grow. Like, what are some crazy, like, really cool annual, like, crops that would just be neat to grow?
I'm thinking,
Like,
did you get those pawpaw seeds planted? Or?
didn't you? I thought you planted them under one of the fruit trees. I don't remember.
No, I didn't. I thought you were gonna soak them, or.
Oh, I don't know.
So I want to grow pawpaws. I haven't grown those yet. I've heard they're really, you know, good. They're easy to grow and no problem. The fruit's good.
What do you mean biggest plat fail? I don't know what that means.
Urea, nitrogen. Well, isn't it? It's a synthetic, and I don't think anything synthetic is beneficial personally.
When you grow your tomatoes, do you stake them or just let them go?
Well, I'll stake it. I have a post in the ground. I'll stake initially, but after that, they totally outgrow the stake, and I just let them grow. But I'll initially try to get them up to get a start, but after that, they just just grow everywhere.
I haven't grown papaya. You've probably grown papaya.
No.
No? Oh, maybe. Figured you would have in
No,
California.
I didn't.
I don't really think I'd care to grow papaya.
I haven't grown pink celery.
That's what I have in my garden now. I've got pink celery.
I haven't seen okra in your garden. Why? Because it grows in really hot climates, and it's not hot here.
I just planted some 2 weeks ago. It just sprouted up like 3 days ago. So there's okra now. It's supposed to be really hot and dry this summer, so I figured, why not? Like, why not? We've got sweet potatoes and peppers.
I don't have any ducks, and like I said, the slugs. If I have time, I just pick them up and feed them my chickens, but they don't bother me. They don't do any real damage to my plants.
Didn't we just answer the do you stake tomatoes?
Yeah.
Can't talk. What do you use, like a 4-foot T-post?
It's a T-post is probably up, 4.5 feet.
Yeah. And then once it gets taller than that, they kind of just go back
fall over
down,
and just
and
go,
then they go
spread all over the place.
a good 10 by 20 foot section gets filled up pretty quick with 2 plants here, at least.
when you screen wood chips, a couple 3 inches is all you need. You don't need much. My favorite tomato variety is Sun Gold. It's a small yellow flavor from my perspective.
I've got tree collards growing right now. Actually, they're merit collards, and then I've got dinosaur tree kale, and the pill bugs kind of ate the dino kale back like in the beginning. So I've only got like 3 or 4 plants. Last night a deer came and chewed one of my plants down to a stump. So I think I've got like 3 left now.
Oh,
I know, but luckily you can take cuttings from that kale and root it. So I'm hoping the other 3 that are left get big enough and I can cut them up and get more. If you guys aren't subscribed to Abundant Permaculture here on YouTube, you should. He's actually the one that sent me the seed for the dino, tree kale, and the merit collards. He's got a really cool like permaculture garden set up. It's neat.
Yeah, I grow corn. I grow a variety called spring. It's called spring corn. What I like about it is it's a very short stalk, but it's abundant ears. It's like 2 to 3 ears per stalk, and it produces pretty early. Doesn't go very light because I have a cool climate here, so I wouldn't make it on a regular corn.
Oh, it was Abundant Permaculture. That's the name of the channel. I think the guy's name is Dan. I can't remember. I haven't been on YouTube, like staying up to date on everybody's videos, so kind of slacking. Ooh, they harvested 2.5 bushels of sweet potatoes from just 10 slips last year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a lot of sweet potatoes.
Carol's doing well. She's just out in her car talking on the phone to somebody right now.
Yeah, this is actually my first year growing sweet potatoes. Like, I probably should have tried it back in Maryland where it's like a little hotter, but I don't know. I kind of avoided vining like ground cover plants just because they take up a lot of space and I felt like using it for other stuff.
I haven't had any problem with cedar. We got a lot of it here, and I've never seen nothing inhibited in it. I just such a grows. So I don't know what the inhibitor they're talking about because I haven't seen it.
But do you use cedar wood chips in your annual vegetable garden?
I use it in the orchard.
Yeah.
And I'm growing all kinds of annuals out there.
Have you ever tried bubblegum plums?
No. I think for me, and then something else that was really cool was when I grafted into my pear tree that has never borne before any more than 6 pears, because I grafted into it and it cross pollinated locally. We're talking locally. The thing's loaded with fruit, and that's really got my attention. Like, man, I'm going to really graft more in my trees because it makes such a difference in pollination.
Yeah, I actually follow, or I'm subscribed to, or whatever it is, to James. I've tried to get in touch with him a few times, but haven't had luck. He's all about the wood chip method.
I don't think Carol's planning on starting a school. I'm almost sure she's not.
What has God shown you this week or lately? Yeah, asparagus knives work great. They're great for weeding. Screwdrivers work too.
Thank you, Neil. Yay, God.
Here comes Carol.
Somebody,
What?
I got texted twice. Somebody said, where are you? People are asking about John Wesley.
Who texted you?
Katie and somebody else.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I figured it was Katie.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, when you use wood chips, weeds are really easy to pull out. It's nice.
You know, it's really humbling to realize that God has used me all over the world, and it's something I would have never imagined or ever dreamed of. I just feel really blessed. Thank you, God. What a privilege.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely get the apples off. Don't break the branch. You know, the apples can be replaced, branches can't, or they take a long time. So I would really definitely get the weight off so you don't break the tree.
It's gonna make green drink too loud.
Yeah, blender would be kind of loud.
Yeah, terribly loud.
Do you plant and harvest your own?
I plant and harvest potatoes at the same time. When I dig the potatoes, I got a hole dug, so I put the largest potato back, and then I'm done, which is so convenient. Why do it twice?
They need your liveliness. They are both tired and yawning. Please tell them to
Who
read the
said
questions before answering them. I don't know. People are just texting.
That was Katie, wasn't it? Any tips for growing elderberries or currants?
Well, I'm growing both of them. They're doing great. Boy, those currants over here by the chicken house are just loaded.
Who is Ben?
Ben?
I don't know. They're asking me who's
How do I get
Ben
on your
is.
page? So I can see the questions because I'm not good at this.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah, you are.
Where's
You're
your
doing it.
YouTube?
My YouTube.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, whatever you add, just lay on top of the wood chips. That's how you add anything. Don't ever mix it or dig it in. Just spread it, and you're good.
Okay, what month do you plant your potatoes? So that would also be what month do you harvest?
The same month I harvest, and this year it's going to be October because I'm not waiting for them because they won't die back. To make a border from the Bermuda, the cheapest border and what I like is cement. You can use cement, and you can use bender board. And you can make nice angles or whatever. You don't have to have it all straight. And cement, is pretty cheap, and you make like a 4x4 trench, and that'll stop Bermuda. They're not going to go through cement.
She's giving you all kinds of feedback. It's out of focus, she said.
I know. Tell her to come over here and help me focus it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Get in there.
I don't think that helped it focus.
It didn't.
Yeah, it's Dan at Abundant Permaculture. Hopefully it is Abundant Wait, I think the YouTube channel you look for.
Plant abundance.
Plant Abundance. Abundant Permaculture.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his YouTube or his Instagram name, Abundant Permaculture. I don't know. I forget. See, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. But yeah, it's Plant Abundance. Thank you to whoever said that just now.
So you made a border with cement? I
haven't done it, but that's what I'd be doing. I use railroad ties up front. They're expensive and heavy, but cement would make so much cheaper. And then again, the beauty of cement, if you want to make angles or like rounded edges, you can just put that bender board in and make where you can't bend you can't make bends with railroad ties. So and again, cement's cheap and it lasts forever.
No, Steve. No. That's not happening.
He loved it. He knows more about having a baby than most kids his age.
Yeah. Gotta get back on here. Yeah, Abundant Permaculture. That's Justin. Duh. Justin Rhodes. Shut up. See, I'm mixing them up. That's annoying. Okay. I knew it was somebody.
Oh, was mine making noise?
Yeah. Well, no one else is making noise, so why not?
It's gotta be me.
I just leave it. Let's see. Ask some questions or not so quiet.
Nick, best part of being an honorary Gautschi? That's funny.
I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. Is it the food? Is what the food?
Oh, he didn't like the green smoothie last night. It wasn't sweet enough.
I got a sweet tooth. I really like sweet stuff.
Well, he's only 20.
Like berries.
Don't you remember when you guys were 20? It's about
Can you give
sweet.
us some seed saving tips?
Okay. Give them.
You have any?
Not all seeds have the same longevity. Some last longer than others. So you need to know which ones last longer. But always harvest from your best plants. That's what I'm finding. If the biggest and best plants is where you want to get seed from.
And like saving the seed, that all depends on what you're saving it from. Like if you wanted to save kale seed or tomato seed, it's obviously going to be a lot different. So it varies.
Why is it going to be a lot different?
Well, kale.
I'm just
Isn't it
asking
tomato?
questions they would ask.
Yeah.
Kale.
Hopefully they wouldn't ask that.
Oh,
Yeah.
forgive
I'm
my
just gonna leave it
ignorance.
at that.
I just store my seeds like in little envelopes, in a dry place.
Do you grow elderberries for medicinal purposes?
I did. I've got a bunch of, well, he grew them and I harvested them, but I just have some that I put in tea, and then I made a syrup, but it ended up more like an elixir. So anyway, it's okay.
I actually dug up the autumn olive like the month I got here. Remember that?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very invasive, and I don't know why anybody would want one.
What?
Autumn olive.
They were everywhere back home.
Autumn olives.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I hate them because they have thorns on the ones back home at least. I don't know if they
No,
all.
I've never had any interest in selling anything from here, much less seeds. Seeds is a lot of work, and I just, I have all I can do to collect my own, so I don't have would never have anything for sale.
Although Nick has little tiny mini trees. Did you guys see those on Instagram?
Yeah.
He's getting little apple trees. Old news, sorry. I'm just trying to spice things up a little.
Yep. Okay. Paul, you said you don't use starts. How do I start fall cool weather plants if it's hot in July and August? Start later.
Or later, but I've had no problem. I plant my stuff in August, and they do fine. The heat's not going to last long. Just keep it well watered, and they'll be okay.
Do not
Unless you're
despise
in
the
Maryland,
small
'cause then-
beginnings.
Like my fall garden always sucked where I was at because it went from really, really hot to really, really cold like in a week, and everything just always wanted to bolt or die, or it was just a pain.
Yeah, I live in a pretty moderate area, so I guess I don't have a lot of issues that other people do. So I'm kind of spoiled here. I'm sorry. We're growing watermelon. I'm growing like the yellow, the small ones, because the big red ones won't. It's not hot enough here, but boy, they were delicious. They're really good.
They asked if mulberries grow here.
Yeah, they do. We've got that mulberry. I need to plant it though.
Mhm.
Keep forgetting about it. I think the yellow watermelon is what's it called? Baby doll? Baby doll or something like that. Huh? I don't know. I forget. A little yellow one.
There's no plants that don't do well in wood chips. Nothing. Everything grows well in it. Amen. I'm appreciative for God for his goodness.
Do you travel locally in the state?
No.
He doesn't even travel locally to the town.
It's only 17 minutes away.
Wow, that's
Not even.
weird.
Yeah, not even.
It's 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Opposites attract. I travel all over the world, and he travels to the front yard.
Look at this. Nick, do you plan on getting married sometime in the future?
Well,
Yeah. When the time comes?
he's not looking really.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of married to his plants and his work and establishing who he is first, right?
Yep.
I prune
Kind
my
of a priority.
I prune my fruit trees in the wintertime when they're dormant. And how I prune them is I prune from the inside out. I do like I prune like the Japanese do, because that's how I was taught. And I cut at collars, real clean cuts. And you pruning is when you're pruned correctly, it shows like you didn't do anything. The art of pruning is hiding your cuts. And so when you're done, you should finish with what's already there. You don't want to end with stumps and at the tips. So always when you prune, you want to focus on what you're going to leave, not what you're going to take out. That makes a big difference.
Why would you inbreed anything? Sorry, I may have. Sorry.
What
No.
what are we inbreeding?
Chickens. But like,
First thing I think it was Amish. No.
I just think
A
of
lot
West
of people.
Virginia, but
And then we're talking plants.
no,
Not
we're talking
inbreed,
chickens.
but I know. I think I'll leave. I'm not doing so good. Anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't inbreed chickens. I don't recommend it.
Composted or fresh wood chips, which are best? Nature, the creator puts down a fresh covering of wood chips every fall, winter, and everything is fine. I don't know. My experience is I use them all. Many times they're fresh. Sometimes I get older ones, but they all work.
You, I don't know. I'm confused what you're asking with the chicken thing.
But do you hear about the fig starts?
The
from
fig
your
starts you
tour?
want to leave in
Yeah.
the water until roots develop. You'll see roots start to develop in there, and make sure you got a pretty good amount of roots. And then when they have a good amount of roots, then plant in the soil, and you're good. You're welcome.
Say.
So thank you.
Is your garden at a low spot?
And that's the thing I've seen about wood chips. Like I use the rainforest as an example. We have a rainforest that gets 14 feet of annual rainwater, and you don't see any standing water. The ground's not soggy. Wood chips don't tend to make a too wet of an issue. It's really they're pretty amazing for moderating.
Just slowly build your garden up so it's like, because I kind of feel like it's in a low spot if it's staying soggy, because
It's not normal.
yeah, if you've got 4 inches of water on 3 inches of wood chips, you're gonna have water on top of them. But yeah, just slowly just build it up to where the water is beneath all of the wood
They
chips
asked
and
you
it's
how was
not
your
as
day, Carol?
muddy.
What's that?
Someone asked you how your day was.
It was good. Just got home. Did some home visit. And taking care of babies. Mama babies. Online and overseas and yep.
So I'm still confused. Okay, so you've got, all right, let's talk chicken breeding real quick. You've got, say you've got 5 hens and 1 rooster. That's a good ratio in my book, or at least 1 to 2, but I go 1 to 5, just so it doesn't, because a rooster will pick a favorite and then it can actually wear the feathers off the back of the favorite hen and cause problems. So I give them a good selection. Well, so yeah, 1 rooster to 5 hens, and then the eggs are going to be fertile after a while if you've got a good rooster, and you can either incubate the eggs or let a hen hatch them, and then let those chicks grow out. Then you can save a rooster from that batch, but if you do that, I'd encourage bringing new blood in.
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't let them inbreed. I don't really know how to answer that question. Sorry. I'm too tired right now for that. Okay, what's your favorite way to preserve a harvest?
Eat it.
Dehydrate it. Or, yeah, eat it.
Give it away.
Preserve it in your cells.
Yeah, give it away. Get it fresh.
The best way to preserve food is drying. Canning is the worst. Probably freezing is in between, but drying is the very best because you maintain 90%, 95% of the food value, and it's really easy to store and keep, and it's the best way to do it.
Icelandic chickens are great. They can survive really, really cold temperatures. So if I were you, I'd get Icelandics for Ontario.
How often should trees be watered after the wood chips? I'm not sure. In my orchard, I've never watered them because they didn't have water, and so I really don't know how often they should be watered. I think if the trees at the end of the day the tree's looking wilted, it's obviously needs to be watered. But I don't think it's unless you're in a really dry area, you're going to need to do a whole lot of watering.
Do you still keep in touch with the filmmakers, Sarah and Dana?
Well, I try to call them, but they never answer their phones, so not really. Best way to get rid of tent caterpillars is when you're pruning in the winter, you'll notice their eggs are laid on a branch. If you can get rid of the eggs in the wintertime before they hatch, that's the best way to deal with them. And if you're paying attention, they're pretty obvious. They look like a thumbnail will be just laid over someplace on your branch, and those are tent cat. You can peel it off and look underneath. You'll see hundreds of eggs. But that's how I deal with them, and I hardly ever have them show up in my trees because I make a point to look for them when I'm pruning.
Good. The initial 3 days of watering your tree in, that's good, but let it dry out now. I wouldn't even water it for the rest of the year.
What?
She said I had to keep a fire going, grab the nest, and bam. I think pretty sure she's talking about the tent caterpillars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, kill them with fire.
That's probably the best way to deal with them.
Yeah, because nothing wants to eat them.
Oh, really?
I know.
Yeah.
Chickens won't eat.
One time, I thought it was I thought my chickens were gonna love me, so I went around the neighborhood and I picked every tent caterpillar
Neighborhood?
Yeah, and I was just going on like a
Carol,
rampage picking
You
caterpillars.
grow catnip.
Yeah.
Mine's loving the wood chips and
Yeah.
curly flower.
It loves the wood chips. But my cat doesn't like it. Do you notice? She doesn't even use it.
She's just a weird cat, I think.
She is a weird cat.
Anyways, yeah, I thought my chickens were gonna love me, so I grabbed like a whole bucket full of tent caterpillars, and I dumped them in my chicken coop, and my chickens just looked at me like, "What is this?" And they didn't even touch them because they're poisonous to chickens, and chickens aren't stupid, so they knew not to eat them. And I literally watched my bucket of caterpillars that I picked crawl out of the coop and go all over the yard and everywhere.
Oh, great.
Pear trees have a tendency to grow straight up. That's their natural character. But if you look at my orchard, my pear trees look like apple trees because I won't put up with it. I always prune the lateral branches and I train them to spread because I'm not up to having this really tall, skinny tree. I've never had black knot on my fruit trees, so I don't know how to prevent it.
Establishing healthy trees would probably help prevent it. So,
I think with any
Little by little.
disease is dealt with by good health.
Yeah. but they have to get them there because often
Yeah.
they're just starting.
Yep.
No, sour cherries usually are pretty productive. I'm not sure why you didn't get anything. Maybe there's pollination issue. I don't know if there was cold or the bees weren't flying, but there's no reason to get a new tree. Just get the tree in good health and pray that you have good pollination, and hopefully you'll get fruit again. What pests? Well, I guess we had sow bugs were a
this year.
pain this year, but in most cases I don't have a lot of pest issues. What's PNW?
Pacific Northwest.
Oh, the Pacific Northwest Living Peninsula. My favorite thing is
That's where you live.
I'm sorry, I'm not real good at
Acronyms.
Anyway, I have clean air, clean water, and really live food. It's really a nice place to live. I'm thankful to live here.
It's just so crazy liberal.
Well, thank you for complimenting my fruit trees.
Are your chips around your trees or in a garden? Because if it's in a garden, I wouldn't go any deeper than 4 inches. And if it's in your orchard, how deep did you put them?
16 inches deep.
Yeah.
You can go as deep as you want in an orchard. Here's the interesting thing about how long you wait for fruit. When I first came here, my soil was so depleted. I was 4 to 6 years before I got fruit. Now when I plant a tree in my orchard, the first year I got 30 apples. So it's all about nutrient density. It has nothing to do with the tree. It has everything to do with how it's living, or what it's eating.
You should see some of those little trees out there. It's hysterical how many apples are on them. Like little bitty trees. I can't see a thing. I have to wear my glasses, but they're probably not related to me.
I haven't grown any Holland greens this year. I like the Holland greens. They're really a very, very quick producing green, but I didn't grow any this year. Sorry.
We just have a lot of food out there.
Marriage advice: you want to really know God and love your wife. It's just for me, both of us are pretty strong-willed, and we used to argue. And the Holy Spirit showed me in Proverbs that all contention comes from pride, and that really helped me a lot. Realizing that whenever you're arguing, it's a pride issue.
We still argue,
but not much.
Well, you want to?
No, because I know better. It's pride, and God doesn't like pride, and so I try to avoid it. Oh, thank you.
What?
I got full permission to eat my dinner on the live show.
Yeah, really, right?
Yeah, I don't think you answered this one. What's the hardest thing you've went through, and how did you get through it? I don't know.
I think we're still going through it.
Well, I think my experience in Vietnam and the post-traumatic stress disorder afterwards, and those years of depression was really a hard thing. How I got it through was God's word. The scripture that says, "Bring every thought in captivity to the obedience of Christ," really helped me. because you have to catch your thoughts. Your thoughts create your reality. And it was a struggle, and it was an incredible, long ordeal. But thank God, I overcame, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, and he didn't do it by himself. I'm telling you, it taught me how to pray. It was really, really tough. We're talking about the 8 years of depression he had. And right now we're going through something really significant, and it's been really tough. But we gotta, push through and do what we know to be true in the Word, and the Word is real. It's real, and it penetrates, and it really has a way of separating the truth from a lie. I'm doing some really good things. Thank God for God.
Yeah, everything was really benefited by wood chips. My raspberries, they're so full of fruit this year. It's just wonderful. What's your favorite mild cooked green? Girl, what's your favorite mild?
Oh, that's me?
Yeah.
Favorite mild cooked green? You know what I like the best, I think, is beet greens. Beet greens are my favorite. I think that's my favorite. Yep. That's what I'll say.
I like kale and spinach.
Cooked?
Yeah, like in eggs. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good.
Or even Swiss chard.
I know I was going to say
Swiss chard's best to cook
Yeah, it is.
because there's that chemical, I forget the name of it, but it's bad for you.
Oxalic acid.
Yeah.
In fact, it's best if you're going to cook anything that's high in oxalic acid is not to steam it. It's best to blanch it. And you'll notice the difference. Like if you cook broccoli, which broccoli is really good to eat raw too, but it's got quite a bit of oxalic acid in it. And if you bring the water to a boil and then plunge it in it, and then just cook it until it turns bright green or just maybe a little further, and pull it out, notice the difference between the sweetness of that broccoli and the sweetness of the broccoli that you would steam. It's a big difference.
Anyway, winters here are not very long, and they're not very hard. I would say winter here is December, January. But other than that,
and you've got a long fall and a long spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swiss chard is a beetless beet. That's that.
Hmm?
Swiss chard.
It's a beetless
Carol,
beet.
Yeah.
I can't.
What herbs help support the body when you have PCOS?
Well, that's a can of worms. I'd have to take a history and find out what you're doing and what you've done, and there's some things just generally nutritive herbs that you can just as a woman be taking, but anything to support the main systems of the body. But if you're not, you're not pregnant. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'd have to be more. In general, just good nutritive herbs, and then direct. See, I don't believe. I believe that disease is just different than most people. We put names on it, but I think it's the body's inability to be in balance that gives us different diseases. And it just goes to our body's weakest link, whatever the toxin is, and imbalance. And then we put names on them, depending on what part of the body it manifests or what person, put the fancy title on it.
There's a question here about what is the most useful herb you have in the garden? Or you grow and plan to always have in the garden, the most useful herb?
Probably comfrey. For just a quick answer, because it's a real good. It's really good for many, many things, but you have to be respectful of it. And we have herbs in this community in the native plants that are phenomenal. Like we have something akin to golden seal, which is Oregon grape. The berberine and the Oregon grape, the root. And we've got I don't know. There's just so many good herbs out there that grow pretty much all over the United States, like plantain and chickweed. I was just talking to someone today at a home visit. They were talking to me about getting mosquito bites, and I was telling him, took him outside and showed him some herbs he could use to help quell the itch, you know. So I mean, there's just all kinds of things that that you can use specific to your particular need. But comfrey is probably a really great one. And all the, like I said, the native herbs that grow, it's in abundance all over the world. I mean, I go all over the world and I see dandelion, and I see plantain, and I see chickweed, and I see what are some of these other, clover. I see, you know,
Mullein.
Yeah, mullein. Mullein's another one that comes to our house every year, and I love it. And you know, there's just the native plants are the most, and the native plants to your particular community are probably the best for you, especially if you were born and raised there and you have a whole family of, you know, parentage there. You know, like if you were, I was just thinking about, you know, he's part Cherokee, and he's probably got a lot of ancestral herbs from where he's from, you know. And there's just a lot of herbs are amazing, and they're God's medicine for us, you know, for the healing of the nations, and all the plants are just a real blessing to have.
Anything about cultivating truffles in wood chips?
Those are
Oh.
mushrooms, right?
Yeah, the truffles, they just
Yeah.
live underneath the surface of the skin. I mean, the skin of the earth, the soil. You know, I've studied them a little bit, and I went and looked for them and found a few, but I'm not an avid knower about that, but I'd love to know more about it. I went through a time where I was really studying a lot about mushrooms, but I've forgotten all of it now. I've got to go back and do it again.
She wants to, but I really enjoy the herb anise hyssop, and wondered if you've grown or
I've got some, but I just hate the fact that every year it goes away. But at least my house. But anyway, I love anise hyssop, and anise hyssop mixed with, you know, lemon balm, and you know, what else have I mixed it with? Anyway, it's just really yummy. Yeah, anise hyssop, I love it. It's really yummy. It's got a neat, unique flavor, and I think it's part of the mint family. Pretty sure.
Sheep are using the thing.
Using what thing?
The
salt.
block.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Oh, good. Thank you, Nico. Good old Nico's taking care of us and our animals and our plants and he's a good caretaker. We really appreciate him.
Yeah, I picked all the morels and I mashed them up and I spread them all over the place. So there's going to be even more next year, I bet. We sacrificed them all.
That's how you make babies.
Sacrifice
No,
them all?
no. Baby mushrooms. I know. mushrooms.
Like, I didn't think that's how it worked.
No.
I didn't grow the small kiwis. I grew kiwis here once, but I couldn't keep up with them. They were growing, 17 feet a year, and they broke my fences down, and I got
I'm
rid
tearing
of
them out. This guy is ruthless. If something doesn't perform the way he thinks, he doesn't even ask me. All of a sudden, it's gone. I was thinking the other day, we used to have a flowering cherry or flowering plum at the pond, and it's gone. I'm thinking, when did that go? Anyway, whatever.
Do you know any good books? Both of you. Do you both know of good books? Well, yours is about women's health, and then yours could be about gardening or.
No, mine can be all kinds of things. What are you talking about?
They asked you
Herbs.
about women's health.
Oh, okay. Well.
So you're limited to just women's health.
There's a lot of good books, but you have to pick and choose because some of it's too wild and crazy. Because I'm a holistic classical midwife, and that's not the stereotypical midwife that you see anymore. And it's spirit, soul, and body. I'm always looking at, and you have to exert your intuition a lot and look at beyond what you see and what you hear. And so there's not a lot out there that's not super kind of far out, but there are some good books out there that you can.
Here's one. Any thoughts on large families versus the current trend of 1 or 2 kids?
I think you just need to really pray and ask God to show you what He said. Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And there's a lot of controversy around that. Needless to say, that the earth has been replenished and all, but I don't know. I see that. I don't know. There's a lot of things I probably can't really say publicly. How
Why
I feel
not?
about that.
Just go for it.
No.
Who cares?
No. Anyway. But
People don't like it, they can unsubscribe. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
no, it's okay. I don't know. It's a hard one too, because you look at the world and the state of the world is in right now. And if you're not a person of faith, you're probably not going to have more than either no children or only 2. But if you're people of faith and feel that God's told you to make babies, and as long as you give time between them, that's not going to tax your wife's body or compromise the baby's health, then I'm not questioning that. I think that those are going to be the little prophets and seers in the future, and people that are going to call things out, on a spiritual level. So it's really a delicate subject, and I don't like to really give my opinion as much as God's opinion.
Did you ever come up with any books?
Me?
Yeah.
Like written any?
No.
Oh.
Like,
Well, I
come to
can't.
mind.
Yeah, it's just I don't like to recommend them, because you've got to weed out a lot of, like, I don't know. I have to think about it. There's a book. There's the book. My favorite book. It's not easy to get because it's from New Zealand, and she died. And when I read her book, I said to myself, I don't need to write a book now. She does almost everything that I do, but it's more midwife related. I'd have to think on that for a while, because there's not a lot out there. Women's health, I don't specialize as much in as pregnancy and birth. And so, unfortunately, we don't have that here in our license. I know a lot about it, but I don't, I can't legally recommend or prescribe or whatever those things. I just tell people what I've done when I've ran into certain situations or circumstances in my own body or my children. I've said, this is what I've done with my girls, because I've got 5 girls. So I'm sorry, I'm not really answering your question, because I don't really know any good books that aren't real. I don't know. I think
What
there's
books would you recommend? Like,
The Bible.
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
It's really a great book.
Well, I would second that. Or first it, really. Yeah. It gives you a lot of direction in areas, and God will speak to you a lot in areas that doesn't seem like it's relevant, and all of a sudden you get a rhema word and you realize that was God directly speaking to me about this particular situation. There's a book by Tony Salerno called Life in Christ that we're taking we go through right now. That's a really good beginner book on how to get grounded in God. It's out of print, but I think if you get a hold of Tony, he told me he's got some on his website. So I've been just getting them used on, Libris or Amazon or something. And what other book? I have oodles and oodles of books on herbs and, and native plants and how you can use them both nutritively and medicinally. Some of them are no longer published, unfortunately, but they're really good books. You've read some books lately that were really good, you thought.
I just can't think of their name right now.
Are they right there?
No.
Isn't one of them right
Mm-mm.
there? So you didn't even look.
There's You Can Farm.
You can farm by
Dill salad.
ask this guy. He probably would tell you something. Joe Selton, Salad's book.
Joe Salad.
Joe Salatin's book. You can farm.
You can farm. There's pastured poultry profits. That's a good one. Pretty much any of Joel's books. There's comments. Hold on. There's a link for Life in Christ.
Oh, that's a really good. I think it's a really good foundational book for how to get people grounded in God. And if you get it and read it, let us know what you think. It's all the word. And it's the workbook. Smile, honey. You look grumpy.
Oh yeah.
What?
Everything I want to do is illegal. That's another one of Joel's books. I haven't read that one, but I want to. Sounds fun.
No, I haven't done any Japanese woodworking.
I'm terrible with names. The Busy Little House. Your name starts with a K, I think. Do you remember what her name
Busy
was?
Little House?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
my Maud.
Maud?
Yeah, what's your name? I always screw that up.
Your name? Somebody's
Karen. It's Karen. I remember the K.
I don't know. You want to live off the earth kind of books? I mean, what kind of books you want? Hear more. I don't want to be in the center.
Huh?
I
Oh,
wanna be in
I
the
was scooting
center.
over.
Huh?
I was scooting out.
No, don't.
Should we wrap it up for the night?
Are you guys bored? Is there any more questions you want? Come on, everybody. Ask some more questions. Is there any more?
Guess what? Was that a yes, you're bored? Or
You want to wrap it up?
can you grow peaches and apricots up here?
Yeah, I have an apricot tree and I grew peaches, but I stopped because I produced so much and I couldn't use them all because they didn't have any shelf life. But they do grow here. Not well, but they do grow.
Yeah, like I said, he's so funny. He just takes it out. It grows really good, but he just takes it out because he can't eat it all at once. They weren't very big. The peaches are only about this big, right?
Yeah, and they didn't have any shelf life. It wouldn't
Yeah.
last.
Yeah.
Have you ever planted something and come to regret it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Horseradish.
and barberry.
Burdock.
Burdock. Oh,
I
burdock.
planted it. Yeah, but burdock is something that you just have to get it before it gets out of hand. The first year you harvest the root.
And don't ever plant mint in wood chips. It'll take your place over.
Oh yeah, mint, comfrey, horseradish. You don't want to do that unless you
Well,
get the comfrey
yeah.
that's what's it called?
Bocking 14. It's a German cultivar that doesn't produce viable seed, so it won't set seed everywhere. And
Yeah, we've got it
Yeah,
everywhere
remember.
because Nico planted it everywhere, but it's not going to succeed, which is really wonderful because comfrey is one of those plants that, it's pretty handy.
Yeah.
The addition every fall is what I'm so loving about this process is getting less and less because my soil really is getting built up. You don't need to add as much. And so this is the beauty of God's way is that as you get older, you get a higher and higher return with less and less work. And so it's been really nice to see how it's really, really holding well. And it isn't labor intensive.
But in the early days, you do want to get
Yes, in
as
early
much
day-
as you can.
Early days, it take especially at poor soil because the soil's hungry and it really eats it up.
Yeah, it's hard because it's hard to not just answer in ways that are related to now. But in the beginning, I'm glad Nick reminds us that, in the early days. Thank you.
I am Greek. I don't just look Greek. I am Greek.
Somebody said you look.
I don't
Yes.
know of anything from Arkansas I'm looking for, so but thank you.
Arkansas.
Anyway, how many egg chicken do we have? About 27 chickens? Or?
27, 28,
Okay.
29, who knows?
26.
Sure.
Sure. They're hard to count.
They move pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it's chicken math. You chicken people will know that.
Chicken math. What's chicken math?
Oh, I've got 5 chickens. It really means you've got 30.
Oh, really?
For some crazy chicken people.
Oh, really?
What all can you do with comfrey?
Chicken people.
Did you
Oh,
know
comfrey. What can
Comfrey?
you do with it?
Oh, a
You
lot
know
of
it.
things. Huh?
You make fertilizer. You can,
Feed your,
yeah, it's great fodder.
yeah.
I know a lot of the farm uses. You know a lot of the medicinal uses. So
Yeah, you can
what do
use
you want to know?
the aerial parts and the root. And it's pretty powerful medicine, so you want to be careful with it. You can damage your liver, kidneys if you don't take heed and take it easy. You could use it as a poultice. You can use it, the Indians used to call it bone knit because it really helps to cure your bones pretty quickly. And then if you use it like topically on a deep wound, it's probably not a good idea because it'll heal it so fast that it won't allow the inner layer to heal. So I usually recommend that people use something like, if they've got it in season, yarrow leaf instead, if they've got a deep wound. So that's how I've used it.
Anyway, in California, we grew persimmons and they were wonderful. I really enjoyed them. They were so good when they're ripe on a tree, and they're very easy
Yeah,
to
they
grow.
don't grow here. I wish.
How large is the chicken yard?
I don't remember. I measured it and got
You
the
did?
square footage, but yeah,
Did you
because
really?
somebody asked. They wanted the exact dimensions.
Oh, you're kidding.
And you
because they
forget.
wanted they
Maybe
wanted
30 by 25 or
it, sure, why not? That's about
it's
right.
close enough.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
Yeah.
But it's not a square, so it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of just tucked in.
Rectangular. It's weird. It's like, it's not at all. It's not even, it's not like typical for him. He's usually row crops and everything is neat and tidy. This is kind of like, it does have 4 sides though.
Anyway,
not
citrus.
optimal.
What would make it here because it gets too cold.
Yeah. We had a greenhouse.
Do you have family nearby? I have my children live here, and I have
Some of them.
my brother. I only have one brother. He lives here.
My brother lives in Idaho. Most of our kids are in Washington now. I've got a daughter that lives in Austria, Vienna.
Do you guys speak any other language? I don't speak it. Carol,
Speaks in tongues.
and she knows Spanish pretty well, but
No, not really. I understand it, but I don't speak it. I wish I spoke Hebrew. I'm every time I go there, I learn a little bit more. But
I can speak a little Greek.
yeah, just cuss words. No. Yeah, but he's a good boy and he doesn't do that stuff
No.
anymore.
I do feed the chickens grain in the wintertime,
But he
like
was raised with some
barley
real
or oats.
characters.
But I feed them a whole grain. I don't do anything cracked. I always give them a whole grain, and that's during like in the wintertime when there's not much growing here. I haven't ever grown grain. No.
Unless you count corn and rice,
Mhm.
because that's a grain. But
Yeah, but you haven't grown oats or wheat.
yeah, it's a waste.
A waste.
Yeah, there's no point.
There's somebody in Dungeon and Nash grows those.
Yeah, but
I think he grows barley.
yeah, he grows a lot. But look at how he's growing it. Like they've got acres of it. There's no sense. There's no
Oh, in a
point.
smaller point. Yeah.
People ask me all the time, "Do I grow it?" No.
We want to grow alfalfa in the field.
Well,
That's
that's
not really
different.
grain.
That's
Yeah.
that's in the field, and the sheep can harvest it when they want it. But grains, unless you're going to plant more than, I'd say, 2 acres, It's not worth it. Not in my point of view.
Mhm.
What do you guys have for a meal that we eat often?
He eats eggs and potatoes. When I'm not home, that's his
Go-to.
or you'll make brown rice and vegetables, or I mean he grazes all day long in the garden. So it's like, what does he eat? Well, besides grazing in the garden, you know, he eats eggs and potatoes when I'm not home. And I don't know, what do we usually eat? Nothing's usual.
What's that thing?
Canyon crud.
Canyon crud.
He
yeah.
likes canyon crud. I'm an old hippie. And when I first got saved, I used to live in Laguna Canyon with Odin Fung and the Mustard Seed Faith and all these hippie musicians. And we all lived together in a Christian commune, and it was it wasn't like a crazy Nazi, whatever. And so every night, this one guy, I was a vegetarian, but I used to be the cook. And this one guy, which knew that we were a bunch of poor hippies, used to bring over like a pound or two of hamburger. And all we had stable was like rice. So we'd cook up this hamburger, and after we'd cook up the brown rice, we'd add the rice to the hamburger, and then we'd put all kinds of cayenne pepper on it. And it was yummy. Believe it or not, it's such a weird food. But these guys, they both like it. I like it. It's really good. And then we have a big salad with it or something. But I don't know. Is there anything we eat all the time? Really, right? I've been making green drinks lately.
Stuff in the garden, whatever's growing.
Yeah. We like to eat whatever's in the garden.
Nick, how well does sweet potatoes recover after deer ate a lot?
Depends on how much they ate.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe they'll make the potatoes bigger.
Give them a high nitrogen and high phosphorus amendment. So let's see what would be good for that. Fish emulsion or fish meal. Alfalfa meal. That's great. Just mix that in, or put it down on top of your wood chips and water it in really deep. And then
what's that stuff you just got?
Oh, it's upstairs. It's Hendricus Complete.
Would that be good?
No. I mean, yeah, it'd be great because it's microorganisms and fungal life and all kinds of good stuff. But there's another one that Hendricus makes that
would be better.
Yeah, but I forget the name of it. But yeah, high phosphorus and a decent amount of nitrogen just to get the foliage going again, and you should be good.
Do you eat sweet potato greens?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, like the new greens, you can roll them up and eat them. They're pretty good.
There's so many greens though, and they all come on at once. So it's like, am I going to eat sweet potato greens? Unless I really like, probably not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's an important lesson that God has taught you guys?
He's faithful.
He's reading it. That's supposed to be my job, but he's on it. I'm not even.
He's faithful. God is faithful. What other lessons?
Just he's good.
You know what? The biggest lesson is how real he is, and how his idea was never religion. And religion has been a disparity. It's been horrible in this world. Think about all the wars, all the things that happened in the name of religion. He's not interested in a Baptist, a Catholic, whatever. He's more interested in the heart, and he's very interested in our relationship with him. So he died for a relationship with us. He did not die to bring forth religion. And that's been earth-shattering for people, because I share with people all around the world about how real he is and how true he is. And if you let go of it, says that you need that no man teach you but the Holy Spirit. And if you truly know God and you're not playing games with God and you really have a pure heart toward him, he will show you exploits. I think the biggest thing I've learned is how living and how real and how true he is. And he's present, he's alive. And he's alive through his word, and he's alive through speaking to us when we sit and spend time with him in prayer, talking to him. That's what prayer is, talking to him. and worshiping him and telling him all the time how thankful we are for him, being in gratitude.
Is it, Paul, is most of your knowledge about gardening from your parents or from God or experiences? Mostly from God, but God certainly used my parents and experiences, and
Probably
then
more than you think.
and then paying attention to nature, which is what He's made. But the reality is, all comes from Him, because every good gift comes down from the Father of lights.
Somebody said, did the holy music just jump on by itself?
That wasn't holy music. That's the gladiator thing when the guy was dying. I just like the music. It's just really mellow music comparison.
That's a good description too, though.
What?
It's just the gladiator music when the guy was dying. Oh boy.
Holy music, come on. Holy. That's funny.
Any more questions? We've reached 2 hours and 3 minutes.
I'm just getting started, but I just got here.
We can keep going if you want. I don't
I'm
care.
only kidding. It's
I
okay.
don't care.
It's okay. I just think it'd be fun I mean, I'm
Pull
glad
an
we got to do
all-nighter?
it. No.
Well, I want to answer this
We're
question.
fine.
Do
Okay.
non-believers
That's
get annoyed when you talk about God at your on your tours?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've never. It's pretty rare. What I've found is I've had atheists and who have,
Challenge.
Not challenged, but when they come here, they can't avoid His presence because they sense it and His goodness, and it's hard to oppose that because He's really good and His presence is very viable here. It's you can sense it. It's not something it's subtle. It's very very real, and they can't deny it. So I haven't found it to be a problem at all.
Did you see that one? Paul lights up when talking about God. Don't even need lighting.
That's cute.
Sometimes people send me pictures of their gardens. I don't post anything, so
You can send them to me. And
maybe
show Paul.
maybe Nick can do it.
Yeah, just send them through Instagram. Don't send them through Facebook. A link?
No. Can't happen.
What?
Link to this.
What do you mean send the link?
Like I have to send it to somebody right now. They're asking me.
Send the live.
Yeah.
I might.
Can you get the link?
That's when I wish my mod was like in person.
Your mod.
Yes, my moderator,
Oh.
Karen, right?
Where's Karen?
Karen. I'm pretty
Hey,
sure it's
mod. Where are you?
Uh,
Is she not here today?
No, she's there.
I do
See all
get
the blue?
I do get letters
that's
and
right.
phone calls, and I always welcome them. They're really encouraging to me. So if you want to write, thank you.
The busy little house. That's your link?
That's my mod.
Oh. Oh, what's your link?
It
Oh,
seems so
she's
weird.
got it. She's got it right there. Look at. She's
Stop
a good-
yelling at. I'm not yelling at you.
Where does it say
No,
you're
but
yelling?
I don't know how to like Can I copy and paste that?
Well, if you can find it, yeah, I think so.
This is your
Push on it.
channel.
Push on it.
Cool beans.
Push on it.
I'm trying.
You
I
might
think
have
so. What is this?
Elevation Church.
That's not it.
That's not it.
No, wait, this
Oh.
is it. I'm so lost. Hold on.
Wait, give that to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can send you a link. I know how to do that, but I don't.
Well, why didn't you do that?
Okay, copy paste.
Go to channel. Report. Block.
No, don't block me.
Paste.
But it's not letting me do it. But you can, I think, do
Letting
this.
me do it.
Do you think it's
Where-
too late to
sorry,
start potatoes? No, they'll be small, but you can
copy
start them.
link.
They won't get
Paste
that
it.
big, but you can grow them.
Where are you located? Because some places where it's a lot warmer, you can get 2 crops of potatoes. I mean, I think potatoes, they really only take like maybe 60 days, depending on the variety, like
Yeah.
65 days.
You know, some grow faster than others, or
Yeah.
the red ones are
Yeah.
quicker.
Tri-Cities. Oh, thanks. Now my email is going to be blowing up.
Oh, what happened?
No, I don't care.
You
That's what it's
somebody
there for.
gave
My mod.
your mod gave. I want to meet this mod.
I know. When
where
are
are
you coming
you?
for a tour?
A tour.
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 It's a
tour.
tour. I'm
It's
from
not
the
a
East
tour.
Coast. It's a tour.
It's a tour.
It's not a tour.
Can you get 2 crops of potatoes in Delaware?
Delaware.
Delaware. You should know that.
You can, depending on the variety. If it's a smaller potato, you can. Last year, or was it the year before? I don't remember. But I got 2 crops. What did I grow? They were little waxy yellow potatoes. I don't know what they were. I forget the name. But yeah, I got 2 crops. The first crop was really good, and then the second crop was pretty small, but still 2 crops.
Man, people are into potatoes. Better for sweet potatoes. Unless you have no problem with weight, because they're really high glycemic index.
Big words.
Is that what they said?
No. That's what I said.
Asparagus that I recommend is called Purple Passion, and you can get it from Fedco Seeds, and that is really a nice variety.
What varieties of potatoes do you have?
I don't know its name. Someone gave it to me, but it has really a beautiful purple bloom, and it blooms the whole year. I like yellow fins or German butterball. Those German butterball are really a great potato, great big nice baking potato. For summer use to get a nice early red. Those are nice, with peas and stuff. So this I don't know of any potato I don't like. So all potatoes
He
are.
really likes potatoes. Address for Paul. Paul doesn't have an address. Paul he's a really dyed in the wool Luddite. You guys know what a Luddite is? A Luddite is someone that does not do technology. Like refuses, like not into it. So he doesn't have an address. Nick's YouTube has his email on it already, so it's public already. The busy little house said.
I know.
So there you
I'm
are.
just giving you a hard time.
Where do you live, busy little house?
Yes, what's your address?
No, what state are you in? Snail mail address. 411 Craig Road, Squim, Washington, 98382. Maybe you should write it in there.
Little houses in Quebec.
Quebec.
Here, you're a moderator too.
Okay.
If you just type it.
I
I'm
hope
trying
I
to find the
lose it.
potatoes that I planted. Does anybody else do
I
this?
forgot about where it is.
Like, this is my book, Growing Back to Eden. This is, I don't know if I can show you that. Oh, it's kind of empty there, but hold on.
It's all
This
his
is stupid.
growing log and what he's planting.
Yes, this is everything that I've planted and how it does and all that fun stuff. I don't know. This is everything I've planted in the last 2 years. I had all my records from the last 5 years, and I lost the first 3 when I started this book.
Okay, so what would be the benefits of doing this?
Oh,
In other words, you should do it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I like to do it just because
But maybe you should tell him why you think it's a good idea.
You got a history. You know.
Yeah, like, and then you can go back, like, say next year, I forget when I planted my kale. Then I can go back, look at it, look at my notes, say, oh, I planted it 2 weeks too early and it didn't do too good or too late or whatever. Then I can adjust, and I can also go back years and get my average planting and just go with that. Or like, you can do all sorts of stuff.
Okay, did you
Sidetracks.
get the address? It should show up. I just sent it. It sent you.
Nick, I have a question for you there.
Yeah, where?
Do you journal your thoughts about anything or just the garden? About
I don't know. I don't really have time.
No. I didn't think you did. Did you get the address? How come it's not going up? I sent it. That's weird.
I mean, I
did I
journal
get
my
more
thoughts in my posts on Instagram. Like, that's like my blog. That's like everything I do is just there. Really kind of boring.
Steve, the guy that wants to know if you're going to be my doula, said goodbye in so many words. Garden long is a great way to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
I like to take pics of my garden so I can remember where I planted what and to know if I need to change that up the next year.
I actually draw up basic plans. Like, I don't know. I probably can't see that too well. This was my garden last year back in Maryland. I don't know. Maybe you can see it. I'll just hold it really still for a second. Yeah. So that was last year's plans, but I don't know. And this was this. No, I don't know what
How
happened.
come
to
it
this
didn't
here.
show up it didn't show up the address? That's kind of weird.
Try.
Cut and paste them.
Hard
because
to
it
see.
ran out.
Yeah, I figured. Okay.
I already put it on there.
Yeah.
It didn't go on.
Sequim.
What?
Dinner can happen anytime. I'm in no hurry.
Paul, are you ready to eat dinner?
No.
Oh, I thought I wasn't gonna have to make dinner.
How long have you been married? 46 years.
I can't think. 98382.
Yeah. Hard to see.
Okay. Well, it didn't show up blue. All right.
Yeah, see, you took me off my moderator.
Pruning
I don't know how.
satsumas and lemon trees are no different than any other tree.
You
Pruning's the
didn't
same for everything. It's all
capitalize
about
row.
arranging,
Do not
everything having
represent
enough
me
space
wrongfully.
and getting good exposure. So and then appearance. It wants to look nice.
Oh, this is a
I'm
good
not
one.
a moderator
How,
anymore.
I don't know.
See how you are?
How did Paul and Carol meet?
Uh-oh. This is a good one.
Just say it.
Just say it. No, you can say it, Nick. I trust you.
The Hells Angels hooked him up. Oh, I love it. So funny.
No, actually, I met him right after he got out of Vietnam, which was scary. And he was a mess, and his brother begged me to go out with him. And I just was like, oh, please. And he was just begging me, come on, my poor brother, he just got out of prison. I mean, not prison, it's like prison, but war. And he just probably lonely. And would you please do me a favor and go out with him? So I went out with him, and he took me to this great restaurant that was closed in Santa Monica on the beach. And I went, okay, can you take me home now? I was not very impressed. And then I became a believer, and he was saved when he was a little kid, but this was quite a while after. I took him to church because he used to cut him and the Hell's Angel used to come to my house. And should I tell him?
I don't care.
Roll bomber joints. He was like a professional joint roller and and grew the best pot.
God.
Anyway, BC life. And anyway, they used to come over and we used to just smoke in my room and just had a good old time. And then they'd leave and live happily ever after. And so I got saved. And then I was with Dwayne, which was the president of the Hells Angels in Glendale, California. He was a good friend of ours, a mutual friend. And I was sitting at the bail bondsman because he used to work at the bail bondsman office across the street from the police station in one of the places in LA. And he said, hey, you remember Paul Gautschi? And I said, yeah. I said, yeah, it's Daniel's brother, right? And he said, yeah, Daniel's brother. And he's kind of into what you're into, like Jesus. And I went, he is? Yeah, he goes, yeah, you should talk to him. Maybe it'd be interesting for you guys to talk about it. But I think he's up in Canada somewhere going to some Bible school. I go, really? And so I was really kind of shocked because we used to all smoke dope together, you know. Anyway, and so, but that was a real shocking time in my life anyway, because there's a lot of people getting saved. It was during the Jesus movement. And people were genuinely getting to know God. And some people lasted and others didn't, just like the Bible said it would be. But anyway, yeah.
This is funny.
Then he used to come over and bring me roses and food all the time. And I'd tell people, oh, please keep driving. Paul Gautschi's there. I'm ditching him all the time. But he just kept coming. And I kept going, no. Anyway, so finally he won me over. Right, honey?
Yeah.
They said, God, Hell's Angels, bomber joints, and gladiator death music. Yeah. Great live stream.
It's called what do you say?
Adventures with Carol Gautschi.
Yeah. He's got a hashtag. Adventures with Carol Gautschi. You ain't heard enough of it. Or half of it or a quarter of it. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah. Who says it's boring to be a believer? I mean, it's like all you have to do is wake up in the morning and say, God, what you got for me today? You know, and he just shows up and he just shows you what to do. And before you know it, he shows up the whole day long if you want him to. Just give him place. He's real.
Karen's husband asked her if she wanted a booger for her first date, but he can't say burger.
A booger?
You want a booger?
Where's he from?
I don't know.
The South? You want a booger?
Something Forrest Gump would say.
Yeah. Now, if you want to steal this guy's heart,
Oh, Spain.
stomach, boogers,
Huh?
burgers. You love
Oh
burgers.
yeah, I'm a burger boy.
Yeah. Spain. What about Spain?
That's where he's from.
Ah, how cute. Booger. You want a booger?
I'm trying to picture that accent. Or like,
Yeah. Spain. Spanish.
booger. Want a burger? I'm gonna start saying that.
You always want a booger.
Maybe I won't start saying that.
Yeah, especially with your allergies lately. You don't have to ask
Yeah, I
for
got
it.
plenty of them. Okay,
Anyway.
I finally found the potatoes. So
Finally found the potatoes.
I planted, that's not including what Paul already has planted, purple Peruvian potatoes, yellowfin, red thumb potatoes, and jester potatoes. Yeah, if you wanted to know.
Red thumb. What is that like?
Like
finger-
a little, it's like a red
fingerlings?
fingerling, yeah.
Oh wow, that sounds good. So that's out in the garden right now.
Under the trees.
Wow.
Why don't you respond to this one, Carol?
Me?
The question.
Where is it?
Have you guys thought?
The bottom one.
Have
Have
you
you
guys
guys
thought
thought
about
about
doing
doing
a
a
Bible
Bible
study on here with us? I love when you talk about God. Oh, I'd love to. I think it'd be fun. What do you think?
No.
Want to do Life in Christ? That would be an awesome one.
Yeah. Maybe.
And you'd have to do it again. I mean, you know, or pick a topic. Be awesome to do something. Just how great is our God, you know? Just even sharing the miracles God's done, is doing.
The purple Peruvian potatoes haven't flowered yet, but I'm sure they'll have purple flowers. I don't know. Potatoes either have purple or white flowers. I don't think they have any other colors. So, yeah. I don't know. What else? Any other questions, or should we wrap this up? Oh, see, here's proof. I planted Clemson spineless okra the other day on the 12th. Yeah.
Do your fruit trees have multiple? Yeah, I've got like a mutsu that didn't have a central leader, had two leaders coming up from the from the base.
Clemson spineless okra. That's a good okra. That's what I always grew that's what I always grew when I grew okra back home. Anything else? You want to wrap this up? What do you think?
Fine.
All right. We're out of here. Not next Thursday, but oh wait. If you keep cutting your okra, it will keep yeah. Yep. Okay, so let me get you a date.
Why don't you guys pick subjects to talk about?
We should. This is only the second live, so we have to perfect it. Where's my calendar? So, no, that's the 4th of July.
That's what Thursday is.
Yeah, the next one will be the 4th of July. So, want to do it next week?
I don't care.
Okay. We might do it on the 27th, which would be next Thursday. If not, the following, which would be July 11th. And yes, leave questions even after this live stream. Leave them in the comments. And then when we start up the next live stream, we'll have all those comments that I can just read to Paul and he can answer them. And that'll kind of keep it interesting until new, fresh comments start rolling in. The moderator's keeping me on track. Definitely hit the like thing, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah. Oh, it's midnight there. Where are you? East Coast? Yep. Well, good night. Peace out. Happy gardening. Gotta end this thing again.
You were such a silly boy.
Why?
Just because you're doing this, it cracks me up. I forgot all about it. I didn't even know you guys.
I think he almost forgot about it too.
I almost forgot about it.
I got huh?
I said I almost forgot about it. I came in here and I was like, oh wait, today's Thursday. We gotta do a live thing. Then we did
Did
it.
anybody else remember out there?
No.
How did you get people's attention?
Can you hear her?
She says, "How do you
We're
get people
still going? I don't know. All right, I'm out of here. Bye.
She asks, "How do you get people?"